Okay, Miles, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, we all know what the Chiefs have had a phenomenal offseason up to this point. They're building off of the Super Bowl title, trying to do everything they can to take that next step and go from, winning Super Bowls to being an outright dynasty. And I think this latest news out of Kansas City is a huge move that I think will help the Chiefs. It won't be something that'll break all the news and just be on the top of everybody's minds at ESPN. I think it's a low-key, under-the-radar move that could potentially be huge for the Chiefs at key moments next year.
Yeah, Nick, I think this move by the Chiefs is really smart. They're protecting their investments. They're kind of trying to, go all in on the dynasty aspect. They've won the Super Bowls. Now they're going to try to, make the smart investments, that slow play, build for the future of multiple championships to come. And I think it's going to be great. But Chiefs fans, this isn't the only smart move that you've ever made in history. You've been great in the draft lately. And this is what I want to know today in the comments below. Who's been your favorite draft steal of all time out of Kansas City? A guy that maybe, slipped through the cracks. Kansas City saw him and pounced on him and got a guy at a really, really great position, a steal in the draft. And they panned out to be really good. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear word from the partner of today's video, Neuro. But nonetheless, Nick, what is this latest move out of Kansas City?
Yeah, so as we've gone through the multiple layers, I should say, levels of free agency. There we go. So up to this point, we've gone through the first wave of big name guys, and some of these smaller waves have gone through. The draft is right around the corner, and you can see there's multiple levels, different areas where different teams operate. And what I mean by that is you can see who teams are competing against. You look at teams like the Bears and the Falcons, teams that did not have great rosters. They went out and were super aggressive in free agency because they're just competing, just trying to get better. They're not competing for, obviously, they want to win games and go to the playoffs and things like that, but they're just trying to improve. And then you look at teams like maybe the Bengals, you look at teams maybe like the Bills, who are trying to compete, make sure they win their division. You look at the Dolphins, win their division and make a deep playoff run. And then you go against teams like maybe the Eagles, who are looking to finally win a Super Bowl. They're looking to, break that hump, overcome the difficulties that held them off against Kansas City last season and win a Super Bowl. You saw that, what they made this offseason, the moves they try to make there. The Kansas City Chiefs are in a class of their own. They're literally competing against themselves. Right now, their only target is legendary status. It's dynasty status. It's not trying to win a ring. It's trying to win a bunch of rings. And at this point, it's almost a guarantee, barring anything crazy, they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to win the division, and they're going to make a deep playoff run. And that's what happens when you're great at quarterback, when you're great at coach, and you're great at front office and organization. They have a really good roster no matter how you look. They've got great playmakers they surrounded Mahomes with. Travis Kelce, Hall of Famer, good offensive line, good receivers, good running backs, good young defense. Every box you can possibly check, the Chiefs check. At this point, all the Chiefs have to do is take a step back and look and say, okay, if something goes wrong, what can we do to make sure things don't go completely off the rails? Because the only thing that can deter the Kansas City Chiefs is a crucial injury like we saw with Pat Mahomes last playoff season. And you can make a really serious point that if Chad Henne doesn't come in and do what he did late in that first half, the Jaguars beat the Chiefs, and then there's no more talk about Chiefs dynasty. They obviously don't win a Super Bowl that year, and things fall apart. Henneon's gone, and it looks like the Kansas City Chiefs are making a really smart move to make sure they're going to replace Henne with a suitable, solid veteran backup. And that leads us in today's story, Myers. If you want to go ahead and put this up, this is from CBS Sports. The Kansas City Chiefs have reportedly found their new backup quarterback for Patrick Mahomes. After Chad Henne retired following the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory in February, Kansas City was in the market for a new veteran signal caller. The team is filling the spot with veteran Blaine Gabbert. Miles, I love this hire. I love this signing. Then I'll pass it off to you. Gabbert's a guy who's worked with Brady. He's been a first-round draft pick. He's been a backup for a number of years now. He's not intimidating. He's not going to, try and compete for Patrick Mahomes or anything like that. He's a smart, savvy guy. He knows how to support the starter, but he also has a lot of experience, knows how to run an elite NFL offense. He's been in the game for a long time. Obviously, his time in Tampa with the playmakers they had the past couple seasons will be really valuable as he works and becomes the backup quarterback for Mahomes in Kansas City. Miles, I think this is a great job by Kansas City because the only thing that could derail them making another run at a Super Bowl to add to their dynasty status would be an injury to Mahomes that could potentially knock them out of the playoffs, like what almost happened last year. Give me your thoughts on the signing from the Chiefs, Miles, and just I think it's a good move. What do you think?
Oh, it's a great move. I think Blaine Gabbert is now bordering on GOAT backup quarterback status. You back up Brady, and now you back up arguably the next best quarterback we've ever seen in Patrick Mahomes. Like, this guy has been a backup to the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and now potentially, dynasty quarterback backup wise. But he's also a crazy good locker room guy, Nick. We all know the story that happened this past December when there was a huge crash out of I think it was a helicopter that crashed in Florida. And Blaine Gabbert somehow was on his jet ski out in the middle of the ocean and was the first one to respond to the scene and help save two people's lives. So, he's got that going for him as well. He's just like a really good guy, solid locker room guy, and seems to be a great backup quarterback. He's very reliable. And he had that pedigree when he was drafted by Jacksonville. There was talk, that he's a franchise guy who's a top 10 pick. So I think he's got a lot of talent. I think he's got ability. So he's a guy that when he comes in, I think that you feel as if he can go and close out a game for you if he needs to. He could do the things that Chad Henne did, and you don't want to ask too much of him, but I think that he can do just enough to get you out of the tight spots, because we all know Patrick Mahomes truly, truly is a grinder. He's not going to let anything hold him back. He played through that injury. It was phenomenal, seeing what he did. We all know how injured. He even says he's not even 100% to this day. But it's phenomenal what he did with that injury. So you're not going to need a guy like Blaine Gabbert very often. But I do think with his pedigree, the top 10 pick in the past in 2011, backing up Tom Brady, this is the kind of guy that you want as a backup quarterback for a dynasty style team.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.